There we go.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm not like all right. And are we talking about the Muppet Show, the Muppet movie, Can Sesame Street count?
Dude,
Or are
I
we just
love the
saying
Muppet
from
movie.
the Muppet Show, from the original cast of the Muppet Show?
Did you see the second Muppets movie? What was it called?
Muppets
The one
Take
with,
Manhattan,
no,
or the
no,
Great
no.
Muppet Caper?
And there was the one where Constantine, remember?
Oh, you're talking about the Muppet movie, the two reboots, the Muppets, and a very Muppet sequel.
Oh.
So yes, I've seen both of those.
Dude, I like him.
I liked the songs. I liked that they got the guy from Flight of the Conchords to do all the music. Like,
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Muppeter Man is a jam.
Muppeter Man was awesome.
Yeah. And then yeah, there's a lot to like there's a lot to like in those. It's not like it doesn't have that. There's something. There's a certain. Well, no, there's no question about who's missing. Like, it's a bunch of people whose career is trying to live up to the dreams of a dead man, and they better not fuck it up. Like, that's why they don't fuck it up.
All right, so
Anthony, are you streaming right now?
Oh shit! I just realized I
Yes.
showed fucking the Amos Yee pictures in stream. Well, guess what, everybody? I have Amos Yee's nude pictures. Those are censored, thankfully.
You idiot.
Oh, whoops!
That's broody. Ew.
Jesus.
Anthony.
I was like, oh yeah,
You know what? I just got that.
Yeah.
I just got that image of the underwear butt like out of my head, and this whole week I've been like, I need to get blue underwear, and I'm like, God damn it!
You know
And like
what?
literally like,
Wait, Anthony, how did you get Amos Yee's nudes?
A 14-year-old girl gave them to me.
Are we still streaming?
Oh,
Yeah,
Are
sure.
you streaming this
How
right
did a 14-year-old girl get Amos
Wow,
Yee's
that's a-
nudes?
That's an
That's
excellent
she sent
question,
he
isn't
sent
it?
them to her.
That's an excellent question.
You know, I'd like to talk to Mr. Yee about this. I very
I
much
too would
would.
like to talk to Amos Yee about this.
where is Amos
I
Yee
have
right now?
I have a script
Up
that's
your ass.
aimed at Logic where he's like, I am pretty sure, judging off of what he's told me, that Amos Yee isn't a pedophile. Oh, Logic, I have some bad news.
If Amos Yee is doing anything right now,
Yes.
Amos, come
That-
talk to me. I'm a
the-
leftist. I'm a lib. I'm
no,
I'm-
you're
I'm
you're
one of them there lib.
no, that's not gonna work, Patch.
You
There's
hate-
stuff
you
ahead
hate
of you. You're
liberals.
just a
Don't yell
fake
at me.
liberal. You hang out with Anthony.
No.
If you hang out and associate with anyone with a more conservative viewpoint than extreme left,
You're
then
a white
you are a
nationalist.
conservative.
You're a white nationalist.
You might as well be a Nazi.
Oh.
Okay, but the most irritating part of that is people
Oh,
who
well,
are fans of Lily keep showing up in my goddamn inbox screaming about, oh, you hang out with those limbo people, those like
Oh, on top of that, yeah, are you like, ha 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 ha, oh God, there's just,
there's a reason why I don't
you know,
use
it's so
Tumblr.
weird how not even political viewpoints, not support for a particular person or a policy became the thing here, but just like any divide in the ideology becomes a reason to discredit someone, and no one will, and like the fact that they went straight to that on their
This is
like,
why I fucking hate one shirt fits all
but dude,
mindsets.
yeah, and it's like, I've lived in California my whole life. I fucking get
Cool,
so
Bill.
annoyed with people like that, and at the end of the day, like, in California, like, we usually go for a probably slightly right of center candidate.
Yeah, and here's the problem with one shirt fits all mentality. It's never consistent, no matter who's doing it.
yeah, no, there are a lot of issues I have with how the left politics. And yeah, if a person's ideology is directly harmful to you, I see no reason in cutting them out of
Yeah,
your
but
life.
that's what I'm saying.
fine.
But
But
right,
none
we're
of you
past
have
that
ever
with
done
this.
none of you have ever done anything to directly harm me intentionally.
Right.
Exactly.
None of your ideologies are a direct risk to me.
Exactly.
Steph likes to pretend to be a
That is
Nazi, but I
super
think he just
I am not a
doesn't.
Nazi. I can assure you,
Yeah.
I am not a Nazi. Ironically or unironically, I can assure you, I'm no Nazi.
He finally has that Jewish girlfriend.
He did. No, like, yeah, I can assure you.
Wait, I thought you had sex with a French girl.
No, it's a joke.
Wait,
no,
wait.
I know.
Just
I'm
like,
mocking
dude, wait, hold on. A French woman had sex with a Nazi? Oh my god. Oh, who's ever
1940
heard
all
of
over
that?
again. What is this, the fucking... Some historical
May
joke,
we-
I don't know. Too sick to think.
Welcome, Hateful.
Memeing. No, they took over France, dude. Like,
Yeah, twice.
Hey,
yeah.
Hello, Hateful. Yes.
hello.
Hello.
Partying.
Hi.
Sup,
Hateful.
hateful?
Yeah. Those.
Not much. How are you, Brony?
Yeah. I was.
I'm good.
So those are just 2 images. I didn't fully like. I thought there might be a video with multiple images, but she's like, "This is all I got," and I was like, "Okay."
So, she meant hundreds of hundreds.
She said that she turned her phone over to what's it called?
Please.
Yeah, to ICE or whatever the fuck it was.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and I'm assuming they're not going to give them back with Amos's nudes on them. But hey, 2.
Wait,
Dude, better
Oh,
than
hey,
nothing.
Blake is in the chat. Hi, Blake.
Hi, Blake. Assuming
Blake.
Blake is still here. Let's take a look.
wait, Blake's here? What do we owe to what do we owe this occasion?
Probably bored.
I don't
Doesn't want
know.
a drama. He's like, is it going to be?
He's just bored?
We
Okay,
do. Yeah,
that's
there
cool.
are things to talk about. I find it
Yeah.
funny when people are like, it's slow on drama. I'm like, not really. It's slow on
Hey
specific kinds
guys,
of drama.
just checking out the stream.
Like, you don't have to fuck with them.
No, I'd be. I know I don't have to.
Brody Inspector, you're just a bully.
Like, no, dude,
I bet
it's
you
cool.
hate
It's cool.
minorities.
Yeah.
President Brony Inspector doesn't care about black people.
Wait, what?
I got
No,
that
no,
reference.
I do care about black people. I donate to diabetes research every year.
If you cared about black people, you'd have called it
I donate to
diabetes.
AIDS research all the time. Of course I care about
Yeah,
that.
there you go. All right, that's the worst version. What do you mean I don't care about black
Black
people?
God,
people.
you guys are
I watch
all
tons of
evil.
black porn.
guys are
Oh,
all
you should
evil.
see my
Every
porno
single one of
history.
you.
see
Yeah,
mine, yeah.
okay, that's another one.
I go to KFC 2 times a week whether
Yeah.
I need it or
All
not.
right, excuse me.
You're giving me cancer. Oh my
You
God, you're
started it.
actively giving me lymphoma. I can
Your
feel.
oncologist says you can't hang out with us anymore.
More like limbo foam, am I right?
Oh,
Limb,
Ah,
limb,
lymphoma. Lymphoma.
lymphoma. I'm trying to
Lymphoma.
Lymphoma. There we go, lymphoma.
Lymphoma.
I have
See,
I have cancer of
I'll
the
introduce
blood.
everybody around the chat. We actually have a pretty packed call, I think. We got Hateful,
Yeah,
Patchwork Heart, fucking Bubba, Biggs,
Hello.
Stepious, Burning Inspector.
What was
myself.
the greatest one?
Yeah,
What
this
was
is
the
a
greatest one
fucking
by
killer
far?
lineup for a throwaway fucking podcast. If only we had
Yeah,
something to
that's
talk
it.
about. We could get into a fight, I suppose.
We
Did you
Let's
already
just
show
read
the
the
images?
chat.
or
I
are
had
you
it in
doing
screen
that
for like a
later?
split second, so yeah, here's the whole thing. Unless those existed somewhere ahead of time, someone wants to get a hold of me and tell me that. If not, I'm going to pretend like the first person who had those nude pictures of Amos are going to be the 14-year-old. That's it. Yeah.
That's But you were saying wait, so immigration and nationalization has the phone now?
I
like
would hope
ICE and
not.
them? Yeah, ICE and them are fucking supposedly looking
Oh,
into
ICE. Someone named ICE.
No, the
Yeah.
plate.
there's an organization.
ICE, Immigration Nationalization, the government agency, ICE.
Yes, the ones that will
Yes,
hopefully kick
yes,
out Amos
that-
out of the
that
fucking
is-
country. Yes.
Immigration Customs
enforcement.
Enforcement. Yeah.
You know, good people.
Yeah, apparently Amos Yee is a what is it, a refugee here in the US?
Yeah,
Really?
he's here on
He has
There's
asylum
asylum.
rights.
That's the best joke of all.
Singapore.
And
Wait, so his actions could lead to his deportation.
yes.
Oh,
there's an-
excellent. Oh my gosh! No,
There's
and
a-
here's the thing
Hey.
about. Here's the nice thing about
Well, hold it,
this
hold it.
agency.
We can
Unlike local police departments, they just act with impunity.
hold it.
This dude's gonna get deported.
I just posted a funny video in the chat.
Yeah, no, hold it. A quick question. If anybody would like to check Amos Yee's fucking Kiwi Farms thread, which I'm assuming he has, to see if those nude pictures are there.
I think he has one, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're over the
if
age
there
of
are
18.
no nude censored pictures of those, I could just put those out right now. We could tweet those right at Logic and be like, hey, so, bet your boy not being, you know.
We got some bad news.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately.
Who's checking Kiwi Farms on that?
Not it.
I'll do it.
All right. go
Okay.
ahead. Yep.
Nice. Volunteer. All right.
Yeah.
Not it.
I'm doing it right now.
All right, good. Oh, yeah, Hateful, you're the perfect man to do it.
Good
since
boys,
you're
good
taking a look at
boys.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. Because let's see, if somebody's trying to say this dude ain't no
Hey, what's your
pedophile,
Kiwi
I
Farms?
hate to
Well,
break it to him.
okay, to be
Yes.
fair, I think the logic behind it, where they thought he was just a troll based off of how he acted in the past, it was a good, educated guess. But corrections need to be made.
No, it was a perfect explanation in a lot of ways, but that doesn't mean it was right. You know.
Yeah.
Why? I looked up the fucking. I decided to look up his name, and I don't. I'm gonna send this directly to you, Anthony, because I don't think anyone should be subjected to this like under the age of 18.
So, dudes,
Well,
I found.
well, I'll put it. Here's my counter argument to that, Patch. He's certainly going to subject himself to people under the age of 18. So being
God.
no, I'm not
Yeah.
even trying to be funny. Be forewarned is to be forearmed. He's certainly looking for you, kids. That's for anyone who says if you're making a video that has pedophile awareness, or you're like, it should have age limits on there. I'm like, why? we're trying to tip off these kids to fucking be aware. Why would you, as an adult parent, try and not tell your kids about this? I can understand. I kind of get it because it's a shock thing. But there's some really, especially online. Holy fuck, online. There's some dangerous fucking people out there.
Shit.
Findings of orgasms in infants and children published by Alfred C. Kinsey.
Ah.
Oh, fuck!
Why is this where science has
This is
come?
something tweeted, apparently.
Why is this where we headed?
Is it, am I okay to click on this and put it on full screen? Is it YouTube safe?
Are there any?
Yes,
is it just like?
Okay.
It's just numbers. It's just numbers.
Alright. Findings of orgasm in infants and children published.
No.
What is this, a Chambers of My Heart
I was
study?
just gonna.
No. No.
Oh, fuck.
No, you do not traumatize a child by telling them to jack off and be ashamed of it. Jack off where no one can see on your own time and be ashamed of it. Like, that's not.
Be like normal people, damn it. Do it in your closet,
right. Like,
bedroom, or your bathroom,
right.
or a porta potty.
You know what? No. A good boy does this in the shower where he can rinse his shame away.
Yeah.
Wash your penis. Wash your penis.
Or if you're in the military and you're on a fucking base out in the desert or something, you do it in a porta shitter, damn it, in 120 degree
Yeah,
heat.
like if you really got a fucking nut that bad, yeah, you're gonna pay.
So tell you what.
You know?
I'm gonna fucking,
No one.
I'm gonna
No
pop-
one.
I'm gonna
You'll be
pop-
traumatized if you're not
Let
allowed
Anthony
to
talk.
jerk off in front of people.
You can sweat one out as you get one out, I mean, for fuck's sake.
Alright.
Ugh.
That's a thing, alright.
Yeah. Who wrote
I
this
just-
study?
All right.
What
I
the
bet
fuck
this came from
on?
Germany.
And we just lost.
And
This is the fucking alt hype of fucking pedophilia.
Yo,
Jesus
so,
Christ.
Can I talk on this Kiwi Farms page real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so fucking this Kiwi Farms page hasn't been used since last month, but like it was made since 2016, and I'm looking at this like a bit more clearly. People haven't really commented it like much until
Yeah.
Are there
But
nudes
are,
on
are there anything on
Get to
there
the
where
points.
where Amos Yee's penis is out?
No, I
Okay.
haven't seen anything
no,
like
so
that
far,
yet.
no.
All right.
okay,
Could you?
we heard it here first. Oh god, this is a throwaway stream. Switch channels, Anthony. Kick half these.
Well, no.
people. You got
Theoretically, this
something.
is going to be a fucking preview because I'm definitely going to take a crack at this in a full-on video.
Yeah, you got something here. Wow, this one
Yes.
fucking on your desk first, dude.
All right. Well, I've technically the other one is slowly but surely still gaining views. So, All right.
No, this is the next thing. That dude's gonna get deported.
So here, let me fucking switch this over to YouTube. Let me get the other video lined up first so I can get this ready to go.
When he lands in Singapore, oh shit.
No, what was it? Yeah, what was it? Just like we just got lucky on this one. It wasn't inspired. Like somehow, yeah.
Well, no,
Oh,
okay. So again, the start of that story basically became I was peeking my head over at Augie RFC's stream. He mentioned fucking that, and I just so happened to have a DLive account, and there was some girl who decided to reach out there. Augie, thankfully, was watching. You know, he'd peek over at YouTube, and he's like, "Oh, there's some girl claiming that she's 14. I'll have her in the chat." And my thought was, "Son of a bitch, he scooped me again." And then he kind of glanced it over and left it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh,
it's
dude,
like
I'm glad I have it. I really shouldn't be having this. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have passed the ball." You know what? He's like, "It's not my main thing," and I'm like, "Okay, you know what? At least you're being honest about it."
He got you again, Anthony.
Well,
What
no,
did he
like
do? What
this
did
thing,
he
you'll
do
be.
now?
It's yours to take whether what like.
Oh
it's
yeah, the
yours
Lou
to
thing.
take.
Yeah,
this
no,
is a lot.
yeah, he scooped the fuck out of me on Lou. I'll give him that. Oh, that hurts so bad. So
Well, dude, like Lou is not what like the ball rolling. What ball? It's like saying you got the ball rolling if you're talking about the ball of monsters and Critters 2.
Okay, so here, let me screen share with you guys. This is just going to be an excerpt from fucking goddamn my script, where I'm basically going to read off my response and what's next with that. Let me just make sure everything's coming through clear. All right, cool.
Who's this?
This is Logic. So here.
Yeah, I know.
Top-hatted
I know.
gentleman.
In a long time. Anyway, I'll make this quick and then we'll get back to it, okay? So, a while back, I was a big supporter of Amos. As a matter of fact, as I understand it, I was one of the people most responsible for bringing him to the attention of the YouTube community. And then later, as he sabotaged his relationship with other YouTubers and became increasingly disliked, I was one of the people who was still most willing to put up with and support him. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. Let me go back a bit. So, back in the day, when Amos was charged with blasphemy the second time, when he was 17, I really felt like his case was not getting enough exposure outside of Singapore and maybe other Eastern countries like China. He really was not getting much notice on YouTube, so I tried to inform people about his case, and I was under no illusion about our potential to affect the actual result of the case, but I figured at least it would make sense to bring the state of Singaporean free speech to the attention of a few more people around the world, because issues don't get fixed if nobody knows about them. And my efforts worked a lot better than I expected. A lot of people took notice. People made videos about Amos, people live streamed with him. He got on the Rubin Report and made a complete ass of himself. I think I was right to try to bring attention to his story, and I would do it again because it was an important issue. I don't think that people should be persecuted by governments for their speech. Of course, Amos inevitably chose to set fire to every single bridge that I or anyone else helped him find, but that was only to be expected from the world's edgiest ultra troll.
Okay, now I'm going to put this up here for anybody. It's very well crafted, and I do think that Logic's video is told in the it's told in good. He's not arguing from a place of that's dishonest in any way, shape, or form. But again, I'm just pointing out the fact that Amos Yee isn't exactly a troll on this topic. There's reason to believe otherwise. If I'm wrong, I'm definitely glad to snap this down.
There would be. I feel like there's clear indicators at this point that there's reason to believe otherwise.
I don't even feel like I want to say allegations anymore. We'll get to that in a minute. But I've heard that whole statement. Well, if you want to preach this one or you want to spin this one philosophy, there's another channel called Irate Alex. Let me fucking grab that here, where he kind of makes a point, and I'm gonna fucking get to that next.
Here's the thing, if people like this want to argue, no, I'm just defending freedom of speech, well, then my freedom of speech allows me to fucking keep a close ass eye on everything you do.
Yeah, well, this
Yeah,
is I'm not gonna look. If you disagree on where free speech begins and ends, this is gonna be that.
No,
topic.
we don't. I don't think we do at all. But I think that someone who's using their free speech to espouse things that are legit, my free speech says I can go bomb and I can bomb any federal building I want. I'd be like,
hold it.
well,
Hold it.
make sure you never.
let's look at it this way. Freedom of speech is something beautiful and important and shit like that, but if you're basically defending somebody who's trying to say everything edgy as possible just to make a living like this, you're just making it a lot easier for fucking... I understand that you're supposed to try and defend more diversive and derisive shit, and Logic even said, from what Amos told me, he's purposely trying to piss people off. Maybe not die on that hill. maybe not. But here, I'm gonna play fucking some of the...
Oh, well, in which case there's craftier ways to piss more people off. Like,
oh yeah, he goes into that.
You know, and that's
like,
and that's
earlier
the hilarious...
when we were hanging out, Anthony, you found a way to piss me off really fast, and it didn't have anything to do with my ideology whatsoever.
Well,
but
that's about music,
were just...
and music does speak to someone's, like, you know, roots
Well,
and all what makes them a person and shit like that.
I'm
gonna play a clip here.
Silly in our modern culture, so I think in terms of, like, making them feel more comfortable about identifying themselves, they use the term map, and I think that's completely reasonable.
Sounds more like a Trojan horse to me, to be honest with you. If I'm honest, guys. If I'm honest here, it does sound like a Trojan freaking horse, doesn't it? And in fact, if you call it something like that, you know, map, minor attracted person, it doesn't have the same bite, does it? It doesn't have the same stigma behind it, you know? That's why we have to create the stigma behind it. Maps are pedophiles, people. They're attracted to children, and they are a danger. Just because...
I think I got the wrong timestamp, but here's the whole thing. I can come down here to his counter-argument. Where the fuck is it? Now, I'm intending to read this off from my own video to see how this is.
You're gonna, like, get it? This is like the preview for the next...
Basically, the next
thing.
whatever the hell I'm doing. Evil attendees at a prominent pro-pedophile conference horrified by Sessions. Baltimore, I believe that's Maryland, MD. August 23rd.
Baltimore, Maryland, August 23rd.
Yeah. Well, you know what's weird about that, though? Oh, yeah, never mind. Pro-family advocates who attended a controversial
A lot of things, Anthony. A whole lot of things.
Let him finish.
Conference in Baltimore last week say that they were profoundly shaken by what they saw and heard. As a former law enforcement officer, I have dealt with situations involving suicide, homicide, and other violences. That said, I've never felt the level of spiritual oppression and evil that I felt in that room. Liberty Council Actions Vice President Matt Barber told LifeSite News these mental health professionals and self-described pedophiles and gay activists were inexplicably able to cavalierly discuss in almost dismissive way the idea of child rape, Barber said. They used flowery, euphemistic psychobabble, I can't believe I'm actually hitting these right, to give a quasi-scientific cover to discussion about the worst of perversion. An organization of Be For You Act, don't know what that is, sponsored the event in Baltimore last week, which was attended by pro-pedophile activists and mental health professionals. The conference examined the ways in which a minor attracted persons can be involved in revisions of American Psychological Association's APA. American Psychological Association. Okay, I get it now. Clarification of...
Dude, you can read. I can't believe this.
Yeah, shut up. Classifications of pedophilia. Conference of panelists include Fred Berlin and Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, Renee Sorrentino of Harvard Medical School.
Hey, Anthony, link me that article when you're done. I want to do some research on these names.
Oh yeah, I'll put
this
it.
This is
for reasons.
Like there's a lot to pick apart here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what.
Yeah. But here, a speaker addressed the almost 50 individuals and attendees on themes ranging from the notion that pedophilia was unfairly stigmatized and demonized by societies, that the idea that children are not inherently unable to consent.
Consent?
Shut up.
Yes.
To sex with an adult. All discussed were arguments that adults' desire to have sex with children is normative, that the APA's diagnosis and statistics, the manually of stop chewing into the fucking mic disorders, the DSM-5 ignored the fact that pedophiles have been feelings of love and romance for children in the same way adult heterosexuals and homosexuals have romantic feelings for one another. In an interview with a LifeSite News, Liberty University, visiting professors of law Judith Ramsey, it's on screen, who attended the conference and said that the post-landmark Lawrence v. Texas decision in 2003, paraphrasing the Justice Antonio Scalia, did Scalia step down recently? I feel like
Anthony Scalia, yes.
yeah, everything goes.
I think that guy's no longer in a position of power.
he
Also,
died.
sorry, I'm a solid 1.5 feet away from the mic. I don't know why it was picking that up.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was Migs.
I thought
not
it
me,
was
no.
Step or Migs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No,
Wait, what the fuck did I do?
far enough away from the mic that I didn't think that it would pick up.
NorCal Trash.
Yeah, that
was
wasn't me either.
All right.
Let's
One
continue.
ship at a time. No one will notice.
Anyways, we could talk about that in a minute. I go into detail on this in my last book, Sexual Sabotage. He said, following that Alfred Kinsley's sexologists began to occupy our schools so that the educated professionals have largely been trained to be a form of sexual anarchists. That doesn't sound good. Although the stupidity of advocating harmless, amoral sexual overwhelms us daily, our arrogant, educated populace say that morality has no place in our sexual lives. Ramsey said, holy shit, this is such a fucking mouthful. Just as AIDS is a natural overgrowth of amoral sexual education and media, so too is child sexual abuse.
Who wrote this article?
Well, okay.
Why does this sound like a pedophile trying to justify his obsessions?
We are-
No.
All right,
like,
hold it.
No, that is a fucking. That is a
if
fucking
we
quack
stop doing
comparison.
the stop and go here, you can have the whole thing. The very beginning. This is basically, I believe, what they're reacting to. We're breeding to a new character in child sexual abuse, increasingly part of the character. I, for one, have had enough. Barber told LifeSite News. That's what we're on. These sexual anarchists, whatever their perverse stripe, need to leave our children alone and let kids be kids.
How many people were in this panel audience at this thing in Baltimore that this guy was at? I got
40,
so many questions.
I think it said 40 at the top, and if I move up, I'm going to completely lose my spot.
Okay,
Please
no, it's all good, dude.
Stop hijacking
yeah.
me. They need to know their own failures. They have their own minds of our own children, he said. Hence, groups like B4U Act, the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network, Planned Parenthood, and like utilize Academy from preschool to post-graduation in order to brainwash and indoctrinate. As previously reported...
No, don't, okay, hold on. Did they just, gay, lesbian, straight alliance? Okay, all right. No,
I
keep going,
thought I'd
Anthony,
give my hot take somewhere at the end here.
Yeah, no, I'll save that one for later. We'll come back to that.
As previously reported by LSN, B4U Act classifies pedophilia as simply another sexual orientation and decries the stigma attached to pedophilia. That was a good place to cough, and it was legit.
If I can interrupt that, we don't want y'all. The LGBT does not want you bitches. Get the fuck away.
So, all right, let me just jump in there.
We're getting towards the tail
I mean, you
end.
keep enabling him anyway, so.
Yeah. All right, girls. Let me get to the end of this before I fucking have a breakdown. B4U Act Science Director Howard Klein has criticized the definition of pedophilia. Howard Klein, let's remember that, by the American Psychological Association, describing its treatment of minor attracted persons as inaccurate and misleading. Similar lobbying that by homosexual activities led to the declassification of homosexuality as a mental disorder in 1973 in the DSM-5. As a result, the DSM-5's declassification debating regarding homosexuality and many of the documents' harms association with homosexual lifestyle has been all but shut down in academic psychological circles, and that's basically
that not entirely accurate, because the DSM-5 still classifies someone who engages in homosexual activity who does not want to be gay as a mental disorder, and it does fall into a classification of sexual identity disorders. But no, there still is the thing that they were talking about in the DSM-5 when they wrote that, or no, in the DSM-4 when they wrote being gay is a mental disorder. That's because everyone didn't want to be gay back then, and then the people who wanted to be gay were like, no, it's fine. And then the people who still didn't want to be gay, no, those people have a lot of work to do to reconcile what they are. They clearly need mental help, and that is still in there. So, to say that the DSM-5 declassified being gay as a mental disorder, not entirely true. at all.
But yeah, if I would have gotten the timestamp right, which is something I'll have to go back, and this is why we don't do these things right. I've really done some thinking about Alex's perspective, and personally why I can't say if the discussion itself will or won't harm or cause imminent harm. It's not a hill I want to die on. Kind of already talked about that. I do understand that we as human beings should make an effort to be consistent as possible with our values. And I understand that, again, hindsight being 20, and I'm going to try really hard not to play gotcha with logic, but mostly my point in the video will be like, hey, look, you made probably the best stance possible at the time. Might want to correct that. I've tried to reach out to him. I've tried to get his attention. I understand he's a much bigger channel. I understand that Twitter is garbage. It's possible he might not have seen it. And being as how I've been, I've tried to do this delicately, and Augie's responded in kind quite nicely, well enough. Irate Bear, aka Irate Alex, has responded nicely enough. And Combat Wombat, whose team basically came forward and did everything, went above and beyond to fucking authenticate that those screenshots were legit. Or at least basically, I wasn't willing to look at fucking Amos Yee's nude ass, in which I peeked at later today. Yes, he does have his dick out.
Nice.
Hey, Anthony, how does it feel to be a Mexican helping someone else get deported?
You just got deported from the Mexican community.
I'm a cutthroat asshole. I have no problems with this.
You feel good about it.
Yeah.
You're like, feels great, dude.
Yeah. Ask me how I
would
sleep
like
at
to-
night, like a baby.
Yeah, like
a baby that knows that Amos Yee isn't in town.
I throw the CPAP mask on and my
So
my Queen Chrysalis tulpa
So
comes to
there
me,
it
and
is on screen right here. If Amos Yee would like to fucking explain right now how a 14-year-old, since I've had a couple of my friends here, explain to me that yogurt stain on his t-shirt and how this got out to a 14-year-old, since it's not on Kiwi Farms and it's not anywhere else. This is going to be the first time it pops out anywhere. I'd love to hear. I'm all ears, Amos. I would encourage anyone else to check this out and, pass this around. Yeah.
Hey, before I lose my thought, Step, the assertion that the LGBT community intentionally enables predators, I am proof that is not true. The entire community does not enable predators.
I think if we need to get to that very difficult...
I can post picture after picture
muddying
proving
the
it wrong.
waters in a minute here, so I will...
Yeah, if we really want to unpack all of that, Gay Straight Alliance...
There are people trying to eliminate predators from the LGBT community. Not all of them are enablers.
I understand.
Aren't there enablers? Yeah, but there are just as many people trying to fight it.
Can I take
So
a
you're
grab?
for having kids at booty shorts at gay pride parades.
Yeah, I was about to probably unpack that a little bit more delicately. I think what Step might be trying to get to, and you could correct me in a minute here, there is, what's the damn name of that kid? Dustin is Amazing.
Okay, that's like, that is like, every family with kids who's like, I think they might be gay, is like they see that and go, oh, not my kid, oh, hell no.
Yeah, there's a fucking, it's on YouTube. You look up the name.
I don't think that is a, I don't think that's a good example of the viewpoint of the community on a whole.
I get that too, but you see it in the news where you'll see a name like Desmond is Amazing, and they're so brave, and they let their kid go out there and dance in front of grown adults and shit, which my God. I could easily pull up a video, but I don't agree with it being on YouTube.
Listen, all that.
Desmond, this is just a young drag performer. And let me make this clear.
And they should have just waited until they were 15 and become a furry like a normal person.
This is a kid who is doing something that they enjoy. Should their parents probably be keeping them from performing around adults? Yeah, yes. I mean, that's not appropriate, but that's the parents enabling it, not the LGBT
I've pointed
community.
that, the parents who wear too much makeup and are attention whores. Like,
I
have had active conversations with other community organizers about the fact that, drag, just like any other form of pageant, is incredibly manipulative of children. people are aware of it and are actively fighting for
Exactly.
kids like Desmond.
This
to
is
be able
how
to have a
John
normal
Benet
self.
Ramsey got murdered.
Has the broad LGBT community condemned these parents?
You know what? I would say that.
No, hold on, Brony. I want a yes or no answer.
Wait. No.
I want a yes or no answer to this question, Brony. Hold on.
Yes.
Oh, okay then.
I would say most
you
of
have to
the
acknowledge.
yes, I already said that. Yes, of the people in the LGBT community who have kids look at that shit and go, "Oh hell no." That is exactly what I already said that. Yes.
I've already said that I actively condemn anyone that thinks that allowing children to be in pageants of any kind is okay.
The only people to ask are LGBT parents, and all the ones I've asked see that shit and go, Desmond is amazing. They're like, oh, that's the next John Benet Ramsey. Like that boy gonna get murdered. Like some psycho gonna murder that kid.
This is obviously a talented young man. But this is a hobby. He should not be professionally doing drag at this age. He's too young. If he wants to do makeup and dress up and all this shit, yeah, go ahead, do it, have fun. But you are too young to be having a career in drag. This is not appropriate.
Okay, hold on. How old is he?
No, but this
I
is
would
the
argue that
exact
drag
same.
is different than other forms of pageantry.
Oh, but hold on a second. But that is to say, like,
all right. Now I hate to cite this person of all people, but I think Button said it best where she's like, why not just give them a pink bow? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds a lot more reasonable than what fucking that.
Well, drag is a very
blatant
specific form.
sexualized.
No, what these parents are allowing their kid to do is disgusting.
It is absolutely different than other forms of dressing up. How could you say that they're the same?
Not all drag is sexual. There is comedy drag.
Oh my
There
god.
is camp drag. There is high fashion.
Okay,
which is the most popular.
Patch. Look, I sent Anthony a Kiki and Herb video the other day. Like it's like I get that. Like, no, you gotta understand. Hipster. It's a form of vaudeville. Hipster. Transsexuality. Hipster. Difference. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right? I'm addressing Step, not Anthony here.
Which is the
Step
most widely form.
But by the way, I didn't
popular.
get a chance to ask Step. Was my example were you satisfied with with this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
To the most part.
Yeah.
Not Anthony, but still, like that's
Look,
what
you
I'm
can
saying.
say
like,
there are different forms of drag all you want, but which is the most popular? Is my question.
The most popular right now is comedy drag.
Patch. My joke there wasn't that you were addressing Anthony. It was that you were going to reference Anthony in your explanation, and then you did that.
Can I
right after?
I feel like being an argumentative douchebag with Step on this one just because I have the answer.
Yeah.
So there are other games than Grand Theft Auto and video games, but which is the most popular?
There's an active difference. When you're talking about children dressing up in bras and all this shit, you have to make a distinction between this as different forms of dressing up. You can't make a moral. You can't make an equivalency.
I'm being a douche.
You don't know anything about queer culture. Why are you getting involved in this discussion at all?
I'm asking questions based on my observations.
Listen,
why do you
your observations don't have an impact because you actively refuse to engage.
Patch. When someday when the gay pride parade comes to Spring Hill, Tennessee, or wherever the fuck Step lives, like, you know, they're gonna come through town, and then like Step's gonna be out there at the edge of town going like, take me with you.
No, hold it.
Take me with you, gay pride parade.
My answer to Vita Online, I stand behind, and I'll say this now: prides in general are stupid. And you know what? I'll give you if you really like a Disney parade, knock your fucking self out. I haven't outgrown this whole fucking thing. Yeah.
This whole fucking idea that you guys have of what pride parades are is nothing like any pride event that I've
Patch, do you know what I said about Pride? I'm like, Pride Week is for hating your parents. The rest of the year is for hating yourself.
No, like let me actually explain to you guys what the point of the original Pride Festival.
Wait. Let me.
The difference between
I would love to know, like, Do you know which laundromats they ruined to make that flag?
Here. Let's do this. I've got a better example here. Like, for example, like I'm assuming that gay pride parade is a celebration or raise awareness or some shit like that. I'm like, well, right.
No, it's a memorial service.
Fine, then why not just throw a gay party? Which would you rather go to? I'm gonna go to a gay party where there's a bunch of drinks and people.
But Anthony, that's the thing. It's both.
Can I please?
Oh my god. Go ahead.
The first Pride was a direct protest after a direct assault was committed where 15 people were killed by police officers legally.
Brony, for fuck's sake, shut up! Brony, for God's sakes, we're trying to have a conversation here. I can't have you make joke after joke when we're trying to have
I'm not making jokes.
Wait, Steph, did you just try and Andy Worski, Brony Inspector?
Yeah.
Then
do you know where pride comes from? We're trying to have a conversation.
Steph,
like,
hit us with the line.
Step, you know what? As a raging bisexual, you'll absolutely have to forgive me.
Interrupting people all the time.
Yeah, but you'll absolutely have to forgive me for assuming everyone knows where this comes from.
Step, hit him with the Andy Worski line.
I've learned very quickly. I've had to give this exact lesson to people in Barrel 9 different times. Pride was established as a form of protest. That's why it is a march. That's why it is a parade. It is intentionally meant to inconvenience people on the streets and make them acknowledge the existence and humanity of queer people.
Yeah, black people have the DMV for that.
Modified.
Okay, and nowadays, Patch, in contemporary times, that queer people have essentially gained social equity and can get on whoever's health insurance. Hold on, listen. But have we? I will say yes. And we can get on whoever's health insurance that we need to, provided that we're married. Like, now that we have gained social equity, what is it our time to do?
Well,
it is our time to... Hold on, let me answer. Let me finish. It is our time to just kind of like hang out and party and do whatever. So when Anthony's like, why don't you just make it a big gay party? That's what it is now. Because although the roots were Pride Week was going for all through the 70s or all through the 80s and 90s, because Stonewall happened in the 70s, then the AIDS crisis happened in the 90s in the 80s, and then in the 90s, like that got kind of like everyone figured out how to be informed and safer, and that got kind of taken care of on its own, and no one was doing IV drugs. So in the role of things, like, yes, at the beginning, it was very important that people were using Pride Week as a tool to raise awareness.
But we're not done yet. We're not.
How are we? Because
it's still legal to fire someone just for being gay. Because over 48% of homeless teenagers are gay. Because the rate of domestic abuse for gay kids
the unemployment rate among teenagers is low in general.
Yeah, in general, like you are actually like applying a statistic which applies across the board, because here's the thing.
Yeah,
low skill. Here's
low unemployment rate doesn't automatically low unemployment rate doesn't automatically lead to some form of discrimination.
No, I'm talking about kids who have been kicked out of their homes and are homeless at ages 16, 17, 18 completely because they are gay and their parents kicked them out. I'm talking about people who got fired from their jobs the day after their boss found out that they were gay. I'm talking about actual discrimination.
How would you prove that,
in terms of parenting, that's not
because people admit to it. There's
But all right, Patch.
That's
Patch.
the thing.
Hold it. Let me fucking have this one, Patch. Even if you pass laws, all you're gonna basically do is make fucking people be sneakier about it.
Yeah, we go back to the 1950s where the DSM fucking 4 thinks that being gay is a mental disorder.
If I may interject on something there, Patch. In my time, I've been working jobs since the year 2000. I've never heard of anybody being fired simply because they were gay. I've heard of people being fired because they called into work a lot. I've heard of people getting fired because taking too many sick days and stuff like that. But I personally have never heard of somebody, they got fired because they're gay. I personally have never heard of that, because that opens a lot of doors for a hell of a lot of lawsuits.
A man named Donald Zara was fired for being gay.
How many sick days did he have?
Year.
That's all I'm asking.
No, he was explicitly fired for being gay.
On average, how
Now,
often
I'm
does
going to
that
have to
happen?
see some reviews.
He was
Because
accused
usually-
of sexually assaulting a male client. It was proven to be false. He was falsely accused of sexually assaulting a client.
Hold it.
Was he
Because
fired
yeah.
before or
Patch.
after it was
Yeah,
proven
Patch,
false?
let's put it this way. If he'd have been straight and that accusation would have been out there, they might have still canned him anyways.
Was he fired before or after it being proved false? Because if it's before, then yeah.
Okay, let me...
Okay, well then, there you go.
All right.
Yeah,
I
but
don't understand your contention here.
He was able to prove in front of the Supreme Court that it was because he was fired because he was gay.
Well,
Why would
here's
they
the
want to fire
thing.
him in-
Like, here's a weird thing. Like, I've talked about this with my mom before, where I'm like, well, what about people getting
Let me check the
fired
street,
because they were
actually.
gay?
Let's see how
And
people
then
are upset.
she told me, well, most fucking raging bisexual guys don't try to go work at junkyards and auto parts stores. They just come work at a fucking nice clothes store like where I run.
People don't take the hard jobs anyway.
How about Lisa Howe of Tennessee, who was fired in December of 2010 because she came out to her soccer team as a lesbian and announced that she and her partner were going to have a child.
That's
she
awesome.
was fired from her
She shouldn't have
position.
been, like, Brendan, I got a tattoo of a chicken. Like, so the soccer coach pulled a Coach McGurk and overshared with their kids.
Was it a
and
team
backfired.
This was at a college university.
Was there a
There were no
consensus
kids involved.
amongst the team?
No, okay.
No,
So
hold on.
excuse me.
She was fired by the university.
Let me ask you a question.
Here's my question. I have a question.
Why are we
about
talking
your-
over each other?
hold
Can
on.
we stop talking over each other,
Yeah,
please?
like here, let me go, and I'll fucking give it back to you, Patch. So what you're telling me in this day and age, a university, which, you know, as I understand it, universities are like fucking LGBT as fuck, fired her for being gay. I press F to doubt.
Was there
No,
a
I do not
The
believe.
consensus?
exact reason that she was given was we expect people to commit themselves to high moral and ethical standards within a Christian context.
Was
The
it a-
university
was
was
this
a
a- was this
This
a
is
pro-
based on religious. Wait, what
Was
year
it
was this? Was this
private
before or
university?
after?
This was
The,
2010, so it was before.
Hold on.
So
Hold
wait,
on.
was this
Well,
a,
Was
then,
it a
okay.
private
This is
university?
before a
Was it
law
a
was put in
Christian
place.
university?
Yes,
This
it
is
was.
before a law was put
oh
in place
shit then?
preventing
It's a
that.
private university.
That's
That's
a private
you have
college.
to
They
look
can
at examples.
fire whoever
You
they
have to
want.
look at examples after
There
laws
is
were
no
passed
law
order
in
to-
Tennessee preventing that. There is no federal law preventing that. There are only 4 states in the U.S. where firing someone for being gay is illegal. Not in 4.
No, it's
I think
it's a private Christian university. They can hire and fire who they want. You know what? They can hire someone off the street, offer them a doctorate degree, and then make them a professor overnight, and that's fine. You realize all of that's like
it get discredited pretty quick. Yeah, let's.
right, but
Oh.
here's all
Yeah,
the
like
things.
well, hold on, let me. Can I give a more reasonable example so you can stop screaming? Patch, it's like the Boy Scouts who don't want gay kids in there. Do they still do that?
No,
they stopped
To
doing
replace
that.
this
They
stupid
changed that.
fucking-
Oh, I was about
But-
to say, yeah.
but
you
also-
know what your
but
answer to
also,
that is?
Anthony,
Just don't
the-
support that fucking goddamn administration or fucking, that brand. That's the best way to do it.
And we're still miles
But
away
I don't
from the
get why you
problem.
guys think that just because we can get married, that means that all
haven't
of our
implied that
problems
at
are
all.
over.
I
Just
never
because
implied that at
gays
all.
can get
What the fuck are
married
you
doesn't
talking
mean
about?
that we're equal to you, because you won't get fired for getting married.
Don't talk to me about being equal. I'm like, what do you think the fucking B stands for? They put that
I'm
in
not
there for a
talking to
fucking.
you, Brony. I'm
No,
talking
but-
specifically to the straight people in this call.
Yeah,
like
but I'm
Anthony.
No,
specifically
I
actually bi.
Let's
But
be
I'm
honest here.
specifically disagreeing with some of the things you're saying.
Let's be honest. You guys do treat fucking goddamn the
I have
buys in
never-
your fucking movement as the N words.
I wasn't talking about.
No, I
Brony.
no, not you, Brony Inspector,
my
not
problem.
you. I'm like,
Use
but
one
I
of the
agree
good
with
ones.
that.
No,
Let me-
oh my god!
Let me.
It's like you guys don't actually want to have a serious conversation.
I totally
You
am.
just want to frustrate me.
What
you
do
talking
you
about?
what do you think this is?
Can we all stop talking over each other
Alright,
and
yeah,
let's
can
just
I-
talk one at a time?
Yeah, we're still
No,
If
not
someone wants, hang on. If someone wants to say something, just say shotgun.
shotgun. we're still miles
Was
away
that
from the main
hateful?
Bro, shut the fuck up.
We were still miles away from the issue. The point of contention we had originally was I do not want to see children at gay pride parades because usually you have children around these kind of people wearing all this sexual shit. It doesn't matter what pride parades were 30 years ago. What matters is what they are now. And I see all these pictures, and I'm not saying every single gay pride parade because that would be objectively ludicrous. Hold on.
Yeah,
what I'm talking about is my point of contention with the fact that you have children in booty shorts at these gay pride parades. And my question to you was if you will condemn that. I
will gladly condemn. Shotgun. I will gladly condemn exposure of children to sexually inappropriate behavior. I've done it in the past. I have said that either we should ban sexually explicit outfits from pride parades or ban children. That it's the same way I feel about everything else.
And this goes.
My
Okay.
contention.
It's Brony's turn now.
Yeah, hold on. All right, so. Now that in the year of our Lord 2020 or so, the whole gay pride scene has become basically a party scene. Now in the 90s, there was a huge rave scene, and there were awful, irresponsible parents who let their underage kids come to the rave scene with them and wear sexually explicit outfits. And those people were generally considered fringe and on the outskirts at that time too. And because the party culture and the pride week and whole pride scene culture have sort of turned into this one thing because of the cultural win, there are of course still going to be people who are acting in those irresponsible ways. And as the being LGBT, if my kids had lived to be 4 years old as of this year, then I would say I would tell any kid yes, being open about who you are is great, but that's a grown-up thing that you need to know more about before you get to go do. And just because these fucking YouTubers who have more exposure, who turn to their kid into a thing to get exposure for them, are so fucking bankrupt that they let their kid do that thing, that somehow has become some de facto representation of what the LGBT movement represents, is just ludicrous. No LGBT people with fucking kids look at fucking Justin is amazing and think that that's a fucking textbook example of the way to be. They look at that and have the same conversation we're having right now.
Thank you, Brony. That's all I've been trying to say. I've been trying to say that for 20 goddamn minutes now.
Well, I was gonna let Patch finish that thought real quick before I go.
Go ahead. I'm good.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, Patch. Now, like I was saying a minute ago about people being fired for being gay or whatever. Now, using that university as example, since it is a Christian-based organization, Christian-based university, they can fire people if it goes against their moral beliefs. And part of a Christian belief is that homosexuality is wrong. Now,
isn't part of Christian belief also that you shouldn't pass judgment on others, that is God's domain?
But Pat, when the Hobby Lobby thing went all the way to the Supreme Court and they determined that was okay, then Christian companies that are privately owned can in fact do that by the letter of their law. By the letter of the law, that is within their right.
Hear me out. Hear me out on this. Hear me out on this.
Muslim university, would we even be having this?
Okay, well, hold on. Let's not be reductive with her.
Well, hear me out on this.
This
though.
Is getting a little reductive.
Yeah. Now, with the beliefs of certain Christian, not just Christian, but also different faiths, they have their own belief systems in place that says that homosexuality is wrong, or this is wrong, or this is wrong, and it goes against our beliefs of we cannot allow this because it goes against what we believe in. For example, one religion that believes in violence is completely wrong in any way. Like I believe is the Buddhist monks who do not preach violence whatsoever. To them, raising a hand to defend themselves from a slap is very unacceptable.
Right.
Well, and that's fair, but that's just one example of one of dozens of cases that happen annually of people losing their jobs in the U.S. because they're gay. A police officer in Massachusetts was blackmailed into leaving his job because his associates and former employers were constantly harassing him for being gay.
Shotgun. So here's my counter argument to that. So wait, you want them to make a new law when that was already illegal in the first place? Blackmail's
not
already
illegal.
Blackmail's
It's
already
not.
illegal. Blackmail is already illegal.
Yeah. Blackmail is illegal.
You don't
It
need
is
a
form
new
of
law. You
extortion.
just need to enforce the current laws. Blackmail is already legal.
Well, that's fair.
You
I
know?
suppose that's fair, but still, in instances where I'll speak to a case that's personal. I had an internship at a company called Rockwell University.
Hey.
Or not Rockwell Industries. I'm sorry, I'm reading
I
this
love people named
article. Rockwell Industries through the CVEC program in Ohio. Here is the website for CVEC, so that you know that this is a real program. I did this while I was at Solon High School when I was 15. And when they found out that I had a girlfriend, I was actively discriminated against. I was actively treated as lesser and harassed by my bosses and given heavier workloads than the rest of my classmates in order to pressure me to leave the program. Specifically because I had a girlfriend.
I want to go next. Bubba, you go,
okay,
then I'm gonna. You go, then I'm gonna go, because I feel like I'm gonna be talking for a minute.
You step head next. Let him go.
No, Bubba can go. Bubba can go, then I want to talk because I'm gonna be talking for a minute.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right, I'll just go make mine real quick then. I was going to say now, for situations there when a person is actively fired for being gay, that is where they definitely need to go with seeking legal counsel and legal consultation to try to bring legal charges of discrimination against the said company. But if they don't violate a particular religious sector, I believe, like, say, the college university, for example, then no, that's not going to fly. But that police officer who was forced to resign due to the fact that he was gay or whatever, yeah, he's got a very mountain of evidence that if he can provide that mountain of evidence, oh yeah, that's massive loss.
No, he did go to court. He did go to court and he won. That's my point.
Okay. But I would definitely say now I'm willing to agree with you if you're being discriminated against. Yes, take it to the court system. Fight your battles in the court system, not on the streets. Best way to handle it.
All right.
But the problem.
Employment discrimination. Oh, so, excuse me. Yep.
Take it, Step. Step. 1 Mississippi.
Step. Go.
2 Mississippi. Step.
Oh, I'm mute. Oh, sorry. My main problem is not LGBT itself. We acknowledge, it's been scientifically proven that gender dysphoria is a real thing, and I think you would agree with that. My issue is that we have had a 4,000% explosion in kids identifying as transgender in the past 5 years. Who is behind this?
Have you considered that maybe it's because now there's a further exposure to the language to explain how they're feeling?
No, my issue is who. The who is behind this. We acknowledge the fact that Magnus Heiserfeld, a sexologist in Weimar, Germany, is considered the pioneer of transgenderism. He did the first ever sex change. Now who is the owner of the National Center for Transgender Equality? Mara Keisling. Who were the founders of the Transgender Legal Defense Force? Jillian Weiss and Michael Silverman. Who is the founder of the GLSCN?
Step,
the director.
Stop right now. Step.
Are those facts?
I can send you my source if you want.
I know where you're going with this, and that's
but here, Patch, you can't just go no. Are those facts?
Yeah, I could send you the founders of each of these organizations.
So okay, Patch, your answer is
there is established science as why.
Patch, so your answer is it's a coincidence. That's a valid answer.
Yeah.
Okay. There it goes.
I don't fucking
people
care.
People have careers.
I'll give you a second to collect yourself. Go on.
Yeah.
It's like you're intentionally seeking to piss me off right now.
I'm not intentionally seeking to piss anyone off.
Wait, hold on. No, I'm not.
Going off observations.
I'm actually not pissed off at what Step is saying, and what I would say is, within the course of a person's career, like, okay, I was real hardcore into the medical end of this for a long time, but I kind of want to retire.
Okay, so I think
now I'm gonna go retire, but they want me to chair this board.
Brony Inspector, I think you completely missed it. Silverman, Berg, certain.
He was making a Jews run the gays joke.
No, he was saying that
Who
Jews.
said it was joking?
Hold it. Can I explain?
Who said it was joking?
That's not. No. Okay. You're missing this though. You said the gays. You purposely fucked that up to make him look stupider than he was. Step is associating, or he is suggesting, that there is a Israel conspiracy that they are looking to pollute.
Not just Israel.
Okay, fine. Who then?
Okay,
I
so
made it
you
clear.
know,
Okay,
well,
all right. No, hold it, Brony. I have to. I'm not finished this with this. He is trying to say that there is this group, under his opinion here, that they are trying to dilute and thus increase their stock and opportunity that they would come out. It's like an underpants gnome theory. Okay, step 1, we fuck up everybody. Step 2, ... Step 3, we win. So if that's true, so Jewish people don't come out as trans?
There are Jewish trans people. My problem is that it seems from my observations, a lot of the organizations responsible for this follow a simple ethnic and cultural and religious line.
So my question is it like, when someone like goes in with transgender,
and it is they're similar to a lot of
when
things.
someone who has transgender dysphoria and they go in and they bust out their Star of David, they're like, here's the pill that we don't give to the what do they call us?
I'm not saying that Jews are solely responsible for the creation of transgenderism. As I said before, we've established
You're
that
not
gender
one of the
dysphoria
Gentiles.
is a real thing.
This pill transes the
You realize
let Patch talk.
being
Let
a
Patch
dick
talk.
to Patch right now?
Yeah,
but
they have something to say. They have something to say. Let them talk.
Go ahead.
I don't know why I try to have serious discussions with anyone.
Okay,
who said it was joking?
No,
the fucking
you turned it into a joke. You don't actually care about
you're asking
anything.
yourself.
Right.
No. Patch,
are you saying I don't care about trans people?
Hold it.
Patch.
Are you saying I don't care about trans people?
Hold it.
Shut up, Step.
Yeah.
Patch, we are having a serious discussion.
Yeah.
You are right now asking yourself if you can have a serious discussion with a 12-year-old.
This doesn't feel like a serious discussion.
Because you're talking to Step!
Who said I was joking?
First things first, I actually thought I just defeated Step there for you, if you really insisted.
Yeah, do you really need this?
I already did.
Shut up!
Straw man.
So wait,
straw man as hell.
So let's do it this way. Let's pretend Step basically said "my flat Earth" 5 seconds ago. I explained this to you already. I'm like, why are you getting torn up? I'm like, I suppose, here's how I dealt with it.
Because I deal with people this all the time.
But yes, of course you do. But here's the thing,
you can't
Step.
treat you're like, I thought I could have a serious discussion. You can't write the rest of us off because Step isn't
You jumped from categorizing one into the same category of people who like Jared is amazing.
Look.
To whether Jews are behind transgenderism.
Trans people
That's a big
exist.
jump to make, dude.
Listen, trans people
It's an incredibly stupid jump to make.
Trans people objectively exist and they deserve to have rights. I'm not denying any of that. My issue is that there's this group of people who are behind it being blown out of proportion.
Step, here's my question. Then why did trans people exist during the Sumerian age before Jewish people existed?
Here, I will explain this to you.
I'm not
Would you like Step's answer to that? Step's answer to that will be, why did the Sumerians fall?
Yep. Do you want my explanation to that? Because most of the people who run political action groups were either doctors or lawyers. And that's why the people who runs trans organizations, which are political action groups, are mostly Jew-sounding names to you, because they were either doctors or lawyers before. No, they're actually Jewish, because they were either doctors or lawyers before they started doing that.
Yeah,
because their mom yelled at them until they became a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah.
I like how you accuse me of thinking it's a massive coincidence.
I've had these discussions.
I'm saying it's not a coincidence. I'm saying there's simpler explanations for this.
If your big gotcha moment is it basically they had a culture that allowed them to be a little bit more collective and successful, you know what my answer is?
We know. Yeah, we knew that already.
They're trying to undermine an entire...
Why does it have to be an undermining? Why does the existence of trans people have to be an undermining
Who
thing?
said I said trans people wasn't undermining?
You said that Jewish people are creating trans people in order to undermine society.
Hold it. Hold on there. I said that. I'm guessing that's what Step is implying here. That he's implying that basically he thought that this is... And then my counter argument was, so where are the magic pills that the Jewish people give to themselves to cure them of the trans? And he didn't have an answer.
Get real. Do you think that Jewish trans people don't exist? Of course they exist. My whole thing is like we keep
Afternoon,
making straw man
Sojourner.
after straw man. I'm not implying that all Jews are responsible for the debasement of sexuality. No, that is absolutely ridiculous assumption. Of course, trans people exist, and I support them. Hell, I'm by myself.
You're a gay boy. What do you know?
But my whole point is, based on observations that I have made,
this fucking super white,
Based
extra
on-
Tennessee woke gay boy
What
actually
I put
knows.
them in the chat.
A couple
You can
of
look at it if you want.
what observations? What people's
There
last
seems to be
names?
a
That's not
disproportionate-
evidence.
What the
There
fuck
seems-
does this
based on
corn
my
shuck
observations,
cracker
there
know
seems to be
about
a
anything?
Oh, all right, hold it here.
Most of
I'll
the
try
people-
I'll dance with you on this step. So what is there? Why though? What are you trying to get across? What is the end goal that these people had when they did this?
That the end goal. Well, see, that's hard to explain.
There's
I
end
don't think it
goal.
is. I think Rocky
And-
would tell me in 5 seconds.
There are
So why don't
quotes
you?
from after all of these. Look,
Why don't you pretend like you're Rocky and just tell me in 5 seconds? Yeah.
I'm not Rocky though.
Oh.
Why
Being
are you like-
going off
LGBT and
observation.
Did the mother
anti-Israel.
not hold
Rocky
you
is the
enough?
one-
Is that why you always try and get
Listen,
attention
Rocky,
like this?
I'm not.
Is-
Who said I'm trying to get anything? I'm just going off an observation. Now you can debunk. You should be able to debunk this if you
This
think
is the,
that what I'm
the
saying is
most
ridiculous.
piss-poor version
Yeah,
of
I do,
Sheldon I've
because
ever heard.
the
Well, then
only
go
evidence
ahead.
you've provided is last
I
people's
am-
names.
I am all for having my mind changed.
Here, let's do some basic research.
All right, go ahead.
Who are the major leaders of trans rights organizations?
Is that a mechanical keyboard?
Listen,
Pat?
let's take a look
Pat.
at the America list. That's going to be under United States. Kimball Allen, Jacob Apple, Gilbert Baker, Vic Basile, Andy Bell, Christopher R. Barron, Elizabeth Birch, Wayne Bezin,
And you
Dustin Lance Black, Chaz Bono. Chaz Bono. That's a weird name.
Blim,
you,
blam, blim, blam.
real quick though, can you send me the link that you're using right now? Can you send me that? Just so I know that you're looking
Yeah,
at
you
it.
presented.
This
it.
is a
I'm looking at literal Wikipedia list.
Patch.
Send it.
Send him the link.
I'm sending it.
Patch. Patch.
Here,
This is a
Brian
Wikipedia
Casado.
article. These are LGBT people in the Star Wars universe.
Why the fuck is RuPaul Charles on here?
All
That
right.
dude's a
What?
fucking
Yeah, that's a
douchebag.
Star Wars name. You can't.
Campbell Allen. Writer, journalist.
Madonna Louise Saccone, Jeanette Conti, Lynn Conway. I'm not seeing a lot of stereotypical Jewish names on.
Lynn Conti was a bounty hunter in the Outer Rim
No,
segment.
Lynn.
Don't get me started about the Outer Rim.
Ellen DeGeneres, Stephen
Yeah.
Donaldson, Fran Drescher, John Duran.
No,
Daniel-
hold on.
Fred
Yeah,
Dresser is a Jew. What are you talking about?
When you're
Yeah,
Durant,
Fran Drescher is
Yeah.
one person
See, that's
on
the
this
thing. When
list.
you're using a Carillion LT 2300 modified Starfighter to
Don't
go
even
on
talk about
bounties
trillions.
for the Hut Crime Syndicate in the
Artie Frank, Aaron Fick, Neil Giuliano.
Fink, Artie
Chad
Fink.
Griffiths.
Okay, wait, Giuliani. That's not good.
Well, hold it. Wait. So, you see, Brony Inspector, my Tiberian hut ship has had a
Yeah,
one on
yeah,
the
Second
front.
name down, Jewish author.
Junker. That's the thing about the Tiberian Junker.
Second name down, Jewish author. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Finger Aguilaro.
No,
Yes,
the second
we need to
person
get his
down is
Tiberian Junker
John
upgraded
Jacob
to have
Apple.
a Warp 62 Carillion hyperdrive unit installed.
Oh, hi, Rouge. How's it going?
Hi, I can finally join in. I've been listening to this on my way home.
Oh,
Jesus.
holy shit.
Hello,
welcome,
Rouge.
Welcome
Hi,
to
Mix.
the debate of the century.
No, I've been hearing it.
The second name down, Jewish author, Gilbert Baker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baker. If you wanted to be a dick, you should have put the reverb on.
Baker, William Baker. You're home of the $20 install.
But I will say one thing though, Patch. Talking about the observations
Vodka, and Robitussin.
Overproducing.
with the observations that Step was talking about. Now, I can actually somewhat back something up on that, what he said about the observations, because I've seen video footage of people dancing around with fucking naked, covered with dildos and everything else and everything. where you got kids literally like 5 feet away from
I
something.
literally said earlier that I'm against
They
that.
disavow.
Oh,
I already addressed that.
They said that already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
must
went
not
on a
have
whole
heard that. I
thing
do
about that. Like
apologize.
that is not representative of LGBT parents' views on things.
So wait,
Like-
I have a question, Brony Inspector. Since we switched over to Star Wars, is the LGBT, are those like the rebels and like the conservatives of
here's
the
thing,
Empire?
like, well, no. So here's the weird thing about most LGBT people in the Star Wars universe. Like, they're either like gangsters or Mandalorians, or like they joined some big corporate entity and rose to power all on their own. Like they're always like this kind of like fringe, neither like they joined the rebels and fought for the fucking rebel. Like they're always just this person in it for them. Like they represent the raging bisexual within every LGBT person.
Okay, wow.
But I do want to also add there
Star
too.
Wars interesting to all of you. I hope that it is.
I could also add to that there, Patch, talking about not past the observation now to partially as well about the increase of trans kids and whatever. Unfortunately, a lot of them have been increasing because a lot of it's getting so beat down their throats and everything. Because I remember back in the night. Well, hold on, let me finish, and I'll pass you the mic. Because I can remember back in the 90s, in the mid to late 90s, you had kids in like middle school and stuff coming out and saying, "Oh, I'm gay because this singer says it's okay to be gay. I'm gay. I'm bi because this actor says it's okay to be bi." Because they're just sitting there getting force fed into them when they should be making this logical conclusion on their own without external factors making them make this decision.
They're kids. They're not gonna understand. You gotta. When a kid makes a declaration like that, my personal policy is let them figure it out on their own, give them the tools to explore themselves, and don't interfere. And they will figure out in a healthy way on their own whether or not that is the truth.
Can I ask?
I'm not going to take that at face value. I'm going to introduce that kid to the resources they need to figure themselves out, like access to a therapist, access to the kind of clothing they need to experiment with, and I'm going to leave them alone.
What age?
Just because at the earliest, maybe 7.
Ooh.
Because
no.
Anthony.
No.
All right. Well, hold it.
well, listen, I'm not saying let them have gay sex. I'm
No.
saying
Let
if
me
a
go.
7-year-old wants...
That wasn't what I was thinking. At what age are you going to make it applicable for them to either get TRT or ERT?
Well, I would say that giving all people very specifically puberty blockers, not hormones, but puberty blockers while they're trying to figure out their gender is something that every kid should have. Because no, do you even know what puberty blockers are?
Yeah.
Puberty blockers are pills that are meant to prevent the pineal gland from releasing puberty hormones. That way, they don't risk.
Okay, you know what? I have a friend who actually had his pineal gland absolutely removed from his head, and I was friends with him all through puberty and to this day, and it ruined his life. And
The
I
point
would
of puberty blockers is to prevent dysphoria. A majority of the dysphoria most trans people in modern day experience is because they had the wrong puberty. Like, a majority
of wrong puberty caused by.
I have a question though. Hold it. What is there a negative downside for prolonging, or does it literally?
No, it's been proven that it doesn't affect like the neurological development of the child at all. It just stops them from developing body hair or breasts. There's been extensive study before it was allowed to be released into the public that proves that it has no detriment on the neurological development of a child.
But you actually answered the other question I was going to say. Can it cause physical harm?
No. All it does is keep you from growing extra body hair.
Well, you said and breasts,
developing breasts.
Developing fucking what basically helps people grow into boys and girls growing into men and women.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole point. What if you're a boy who's forced to grow boobs and suffers breast dysphoria for 20 years because you're trying to save up to get them cut off? The whole point is to delay the puberty until the person knows what their
But
gender is.
you said as early as 7 that they should have access to this.
No, I said as early as 7 as they should have access to clothes, like skirts and stuff.
Well, I did try and get you to say
well,
what
I
age.
didn't get to answer.
Well,
I didn't get to answer.
Industries.
All right, so now that I will ask when.
I said
of the
I was
X-wing
going to
Brony
say
Inspector,
that
shut the fuck up. I want to know what age for the fucking puberty blockers.
I was going to say that 13 to 15 should be the age when people are given access to puberty blockers. You know, the teenage years when puberty is an actual risk.
All right.
But planned dress up is okay as early as 7.
Yeah, planned dress up is fine if you're a child, like a prepubescent child, but if you genuinely do think you might be trans, I'd rather put puberty on block for safety's sake and then have you go on estrogen
But you would
boosters.
start at 13.
13 at the earliest and only at the recommendation of a
hold
doctor.
on, let me this
Only
was
at
one
the recommendation of a doctor.
Patch. This was one I actually wanted to ask you earlier. What age would you have schools do sex ed?
I would have schools do sex ed at 13.
At 13. You know what's odd? Like, I actually say younger because I think education does a lot for, like, hey, everyone, get ready because this weird thing is about to happen to all. I would actually do it I would find
around
a way.
11, that's fair.
I would find a way to do it to kids around 5th or 6th grade just so that they would know that things were about to get really crazy. Before I would go on something going like at 13 puberty blocker might be the answer. I was like, well, how about at 10 or 11 we start educating these young people about what their lives are about to be like, and that a lot of confusing emotions and feelings might need to be their way, but if they just tough it out, they'll get through it.
I've got a point here I don't want to lose here. So real quick, so you're a kid, right? And there's a magic pill that will stop your body from being uncomfortable. I was a lazy as fuck kid. Just for example, they're like, when my parents are like, would you like to learn Spanish? You know what my answer was? Fuck no. Hey, would you like to dodge puberty? All you gotta do is take a pill. That's I don't know. That's
tempting.
Tempting. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to dodge puberty? Or you can just smoke a lot of weed for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'm a little reluctant on that one. Kids will take the lazy route every fucking time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they will.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the long-term mental health of a kid, like if you want your child to actually grow up and be healthy and
long-term mental health of a kid, the thing we need to do is start educating kids about the way things are and the way the world is as young as possible is the actual answer to this.
But also giving them access to the tools they need to grow up healthy. And that's not just education. That's access to medical consultation. That's access to doctors and therapists.
Like, here's the thing. If I think that a lot of the things that would fall into the category of mental health issues that trans, lesbian, gay, and bisexual people are feeling as they go through puberty would really be put at a lot of ease, would be put at a ton of ease if just better education had been out there at the time.
I'm definitely for that too, which is also why I'm for including queer education and LGBT education in sex ed.
Let's start with that, and just acknowledge this thing that exists in that, and make sure everyone is aware of it and is educated and stuff. Before we start going to things where, like, well, I think access to hormone blockers or whatever any of this is the first step, because clearly it's not. Like, people.
I never said it was the first step. I said it was something I believed in. I said it was something that I thought would be a good idea. I never said that was the first step.
So let's say that's not the first thing I would go to if I were trying to win people over with this argument.
Well, that's fair. He asked a question about how early I felt people should have access to transition hormones. Well, I think that transition itself is the worst part of being trans. And if you put people on hormone blockers who know that they are trans, then that prevents the whole issue. And then you can make sure they get the puberty that matches their gender identity and don't deal with dysphoria for the rest of their life.
I mean, that's
So somebody in the chat just asked, hey, ask them to link something about long-term effects.
So I just posted about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the link has said that doctors caution estrogen and testosterone, the hormones that are blocked by these medications, also play a role in child's neurological development and bone growth, along with if they go from taking puberty blockers to taking hormones, they may no longer be fertile when they decide they do want to have children. It also says there isn't enough research to say if it affects their neurological or not. So
earlier when
then that's a more updated version of what I had read. Okay. So apparently I had incorrect information. Thank you for correcting that.
Earlier when I said I know someone who has no pineal gland.
Fucking patch to answer that. No, now with that updated information, what age?
Well, then I'm going to up it to 16 to 18.
Okay, that's that sounds reasonable.
When they're closer to adulthood and they've had more time to experience puberty and figure out what their identity is. Yeah.
Had a fucking tumor in his brain. They fucking zapped his removed his pineal gland from his head, and then had to take synthetic testosterone for the rest of his life.
Hateful asked in the chat, what is the earliest point a psychologist or mental professional can diagnose a child with gender dysphoria? Adolescence. Anywhere between 13 to 17 is around the age range for early onset dysphoria.
I wouldn't say, I'd be a little skeptical of 13, to be honest.
Well, 13 is 2 years into puberty. Puberty starts at age 11.
So if we start educating at 10 or 11, and then if these things start up, here's the thing, like, a lot of people who experience, gender dysphoria, like, there's no if we can get past a lot of the body image issues, then a lot of the culture around altering the body and altering the hormones could actually just go away, and you could just, go like, well, you call me she, and that's the end of it. Like,
except dysphoria isn't just about pronouns, right? It's about the body. And people are going to, no matter what, want and need transition.
And people will make skin suits, apparently. Like, yeah.
God damn.
We all saw Silence of the Lambs. Like, maybe if
Silence of the Lambs is not an accurate depiction of trans
understand.
people.
That was the point of me referencing it, was like, imagine what would happen if we don't acknowledge this. Like, that, yes, I understand that, Patch. Or why do they call you Patch? Because of all the patches of skin you're sewing together.
Oh, what the fuck? What does Blake want? Yo, get in this. LGV talk is over. I want to invite drama in the chat. I just thinking about. All right, Blake, do you want in?
You know what? You know what, Patch? I'm the one. I'm the one with all the sewing machines in my house. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, shit. There you go, Blake.
Where's my rum?
Patch, do you think we're actually gonna unpack the whole fucking gender, gender politics issue?
I don't want to think you guys are below that. I genuinely think y'all are intelligent.
It is. Yes, no, I understand. You believe it's worthy of us.
What the fuck is this? Oh,
maybe I think you guys are capable of intelligent conversation because I respect you.
Oh, thanks.
Wait, hold on. Well, Patch, I'm sorry. I felt I exhibited some intelligence in the course of this conversation.
All right, Brony Inspectors, put down the crack pipe. So
big brain.
Here's what I'm confused about, Blake. Like, I want to go. Oh my God! Shut the fuck up! Oh shit! So Blake, you're like, I want to get back to the drama. This isn't drama. Are you fucking mad?
Well, no. This is.
Oh, I'm enjoying myself.
Hang on, real quick, because I'm a fucking autist to do this when I got in.
And he should know.
Come on, work, you bastard.
Stop trying to go to the sound.
Wait, Blake is in here?
Blake, since you're here, I'm just going to address this. I'm not the biggest fan of you. I'd like to talk with you privately about some stuff that you have said directly to me in your live stream that I'm not really a fan of.
Hang on. All right, so hang on. I got a bad memory in terms of my streams, although what did I say?
There was a pedo live stream that you were doing talking about some creep last year, and I showed up, and you immediately joked to making jokes about my gender, and it was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It set a very bad precedent for who you are.
Hey,
I'll
listen,
have you know.
Gender jokes.
Blake Diamond has hit on a transgender woman once. That makes no sense.
Hold on, Patch. I just accused you of making a skin suit. If that wasn't making fun of your gender, I don't know what is.
This reminds me of a Stone Toss comic.
Patch. Listen,
No, I'm just.
I actually do not remember this, but if. Since you're saying it happened, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm sorry. I was probably meant to be a joke. Since you took it, didn't take it the right way, I apologize. I hope we can move past
Brony
this.
Inspector, let me answer that to you. There's a difference. Patchwork thinks you're hot. Maybe not in Blake's
I made out of a patched together bunch of amalgamation of fucking random parts. I am, in fact.
You were a lab experiment.
Hold on, Patch. Do you mind
Leo.
if Blake? This is the last time we talked since I told you to fuck off. It's good to hear you, man. It's good to hear you, buddy.
I'm glad. Hey, listen, I'm glad there's no bad blood.
Wait, no, hold on a second. Hold on one real quick second. We're all that time we were chilling out and just hanging in chat and just shooting the shit and then you went and said, I was never friends with those people. I hope you didn't mean that. That's all I'm gonna say.
You hurt my feelings, Blake. You hurt my feelings.
Yeah, that really I took that one to the gut and I was like, well, fuck that guy forever. And if you're gonna tell me you were just talking shit and that's not what you meant when you said that, then we're cool.
I probably was talking shit. Look, man, I was in a lot of bad places. I don't fucking know where my loyalties lie, but hey,
it's a bad mental space.
It's all right. It's all right, dude. We've all been absolutely shitty people at one point.
Blake. Exactly. Right now, I feel like we're two rods in a nuclear reactor, and one is going I make a lot of energy, and the other one's going I cause cancer.
Oh, you're both rods. Oh, you wounded me, sir.
All right, tell you what. Let me make an answer here, and then hand the mic off to Leo. You have to understand that Blake Diamond had the most noble of intentions of all. He was trying to sleep with buttons. Take it, Leo.
Oh, you bitch.
I didn't even go there.
Hey. All right. Listen. I was under the impression that you were a pedophile, so I was trying to out you. That's what it was.
No, you were trying to get with buttons. Okay. That's exactly what you were trying to do.
No, dude, you wanted to get a gummy wummy from Buddy Wuddy.
Okay.
Jesus.
Step away from that. All right, we're missing the point here. While this has been interesting, the main point is that Step is stupid, and he needs to stop concerning himself about the Jews and learn to study.
The Jews.
Jews and shit.
Do your homework, you stupid kid.
Hey, Leo.
Is that what I said earlier? Why do we care what a 12-year-old thinks?
Leo.
I didn't think
Step skipped school today.
I thought he was sick.
I had a cold.
He was hungover because he snuck alcohol.
I didn't. I am many things.
I am not. Go ahead and address this in stream. Step. We have talked multiple times about how you need to actually buckle down and look into what you believe concerning theology. You downloaded the Bible onto your phone, and what are you doing? You're looking at whether or not Jews cause gayness. Are you kidding me?
I didn't say that.
No, it's Jews cause transgenderology is what he thought.
What the fuck are you talking about? I didn't say that at all.
Shut up, Step.
I'm being facetious. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. He's gonna go back to Rocky. Leo yelled at me. Don't worry, he's a mongrel. That's what's coming.
So actually, based on what my interaction with Rocky said, it could be, you should probably do what Leo said. Go read your Bible, you moron.
Leo, listen. Here's the thing, Step. Leo is an authority in the furry community, and morally, what he says goes.
Leo is as much a furry as I am a conservative.
I will run a document like freaking dental floss through a dog.
Conservatives.
Oh my god.
I've been running up and down the levee, Leo. You bring it. You bring it on.
Okay, cool.
If that works a conservative, I'm a fucking ballerina.
But no, seriously, I'll get a Leo as a furry in the chat, please.
Oh, here we go.
You start looking at
Here we
YouTube
go.
videos. You
Here
be
we
like,
go. Pay your anus.
Oh,
he stopped.
I'm gonna hurt you.
We stopped.
I'm just gonna hurt you.
We stopped.
Step,
All right.
one of these days you're going to shout the N-word in the middle of a very black neighborhood, and you're gonna get what's.
Oh wait. What's?
Patch.
I don't understand. What's wrong with saying Naruto?
Oh my god! You fucking leave! You fucking leave! You fucking
what's up, my
leave!
Nostradamus? Yeah.
I hope you choke on your ramen.
What's wrong with saying Nostradamus?
He sucker punched me and ran. He was a coward.
Who?
Don't put that on my shoulders.
When you were sitting there having
Don't you put that on my shoulders.
Yeah, and I want to mention this. I want to mention this to Patch right now. When you're like, "Oh, Steph is breaking me down." When I went through all that shit through with buttons, you know who wailed on me constantly until I fucking finally got over it? Steph. And I know he doesn't consider himself a friend, but in the long run, it paid off. So now when I hear this go,
hold on. What did I wail on you about?
the servers and shit constantly.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the joke. Yeah,
and you know what? I laugh about it now, and I'm like,
funny joke.
Yeah,
I like jokes.
Well, the only reason Steph did that is because Steph was in that age range. He was jealous.
A cartoon character.
Steph wants star. That's what Steph wants.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as real as the French girl you nailed.
French
girl. That's a story within itself. That's a story within itself. Do you mind if I explain it?
Don't count.
Sure.
Do you mind if I tell the story? It's an excellent.
Don't
you're
tell,
welcome
please.
to. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. But seriously, Steph, read your Bible. Stop running around at.
Oh, the Bible. The Bible. The Bible for boys. There's actually a version of the Bible that's just a marketing tool. There's a marketing.
Well, now Leo's
Oh
done.
my
Now
god, Steph, you're missing the point of what Leo's telling you.
I don't care. Right. I have it. I could look.
I can tell you don't, but I'm just saying, like at the end of the day, like you are the guy chasing the gay pride parade at the edge of town.
No. Here's what's gonna happen later. He's gonna sit down with Rocky while watching the right stuff. Rocky, am I doing okay? Yeah, you're doing fine, kid. Oh, whew, I was worried.
Yeah, no, I know. We'll find people who force what he believes.
Anthony, listen. I have learned like a while ago. This is actually in relation to the story Leo was just talking about. Not to put too much value on internet friendships, because that's what led to the fucking French girl story. Believe it or not.
Well, but
what happened was
bros before hoes. That's the problem.
No, I got it, but hold on. Hold on. I just got off from the Tootsie Rolls. This is like a couple years ago. I got off from the Tootsie Roll server, and I was used to like the fucking hug boxes every fucking day. All right, I get into Barrel like 2 weeks into me being Barrel. I have fucking Jason Sheldon, talking over each other, like asking me all these fucking questions, and I cracked under pressure. Like they were asking me if I fucked this person. Like I forget the exact context. They kept asking me over and over again. I cracked under pressure because I was so used to the hug boxes at a Tootsie Roll server. I just went, yes. Are you fucking happy now?
So what you're saying is that they groomed you.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't care.
I wouldn't say that. Look, the point is, no, don't put as much value as online friendships as you do.
So they mentally broke you down to get you, conditioned you to do something. I don't know. That's
you know what, Steph? Sounds a little groomy.
Sounds a little groomy.
Steph.
I'm not accusing them of any wrongdoing. Don't get me wrong.
Step.
No, you wouldn't at that age, lol.
Coming from a person who has had both successful and unsuccessful friendships, both online and offline. Online friendships are just like real life friendships,
right? And
some of them work out, and some of them don't.
Yeah. And listen,
but everyone, but everyone goes through this phase where they go, well, online friendships don't matter. And that is the equivalent of saying the people who, well, no, but yeah, you did.
Yeah. No, I did. I said you shouldn't put as much. I didn't say they don't matter.
That's not fair. That is not. And okay, so whatever prospect of that. Like,
yeah, look, it's different for everyone. I acknowledge that.
No, I'm not saying it's different for everyone. I'm saying what I'm saying to you right now, Step, is that it is in fact the same for everyone, and you saying that there's less value on an internet friendship with a person versus a real life friendship with a person is just
let me
a that is a
the main thing you should take
folly.
Can I explain this? That is folly. Validation on the internet is just not the same as getting validation.
Let me explain these to you. What Step's really saying. He found out that the internet provider is run by a Stein. You see, and therefore the friends he makes online, they just cannot live up to 1v1.
Yeah, dude. Yes. Get my ass. Some of the best people I've ever known. I met on the internet. I barely ever see. It's like a fucking occasion when they fly into town.
Oh yeah.
Are you absolutely fucking kidding me? You gotta put less weight on these friendships. Be prepared to make no fucking money the rest of your life.
Fucking seriously. I'll put it this. I'll put it this way.
It's the same with online relationships. And I have
Step. Are you talking about emotionally?
Are you gonna keep interrupting me?
Yeah, if I want.
He's honest about it.
Yeah, Step. I got news for you. Vita doesn't break my top 5 most treacherous IRL friends I've ever had. What are you talking about?
A lot of really interesting relationships start online and move to RL. Jesse and I used to fucking write short stories together on fucking Tumblr about 7 years ago when I was still in high school.
Yeah, don't start, Steph. There's so many success stories here.
For real. I met my literal girlfriend
Oh
online.
my god, there's so many success stories here, Steph. You're taking online relationships for granted. If you're pissing people off, you're going well, just don't put a lot of weight on online relationships, then what you're doing is you're using that as an excuse to not learn anything from what you did.
Yeah. You know who also says that shit?
Not what I'm implying
Midnight Chimes Mr. Airplane Boy himself. So does Unfunniest. Jesus. That's the company you're keeping with that one.
Step, don't be that guy. That's not
You're right. Maybe value wasn't the right word I was looking for.
No, don't treat
You're
me
right.
like Don't you treat me like I'm Tumblr, motherfucker.
Let me
just
soften
PM
this
someone on Skype.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god, I swear to god. Shut up a million times, let me finish. Thank you.
No.
The word I was looking for you're letting me continue anyway, so thank you. The word I was looking for was validation. Here's what I mean by this. I told you the story about the French girl. The joke Mealy before you left was you're going to go to Rocky Did That Do Good. My whole point is that seeking this validation from people you meet online, to me, I'm sure this works for other people better than it does me. Maybe I'm just looking at this from a place of too much, on paper practicity.
Well, you gotta remember, Jace doesn't really believe that anyone in Barrel is their friend. Jace doesn't really believe.
I'm not using the word friend. I'm using online.
All right.
Online associates and validation.
Step, hold on. Let me ask you something, Step. Can I go heart to heart with you right now? Do you remember that night I fucking got fucking trashed ass drunk and pissed off everyone in call?
Which time?
And you messaged me the next morning and you messaged me the next morning and said, you're a good person, Inspector. Are you saying I don't
remember this.
Okay, but you did do this. Are you saying that at that moment you didn't feel like this was an actual relationship with a real person that you had?
I'm not seeing this in our DMs. Oh, I see it now. Oh, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you do see that now. So Step, I know that feeling like having that mentality makes you feel like you're smarter and above it all, but
hold on.
You can't.
That's not the purpose. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying I'm more intelligent.
What is the purpose of your new approach here?
I'm going from the purpose of, based on my personal experiences, I can make this deduction that hey, maybe seeking validation from people online just isn't the best way to go about it. It could work.
Then why?
I understand.
A night of pure desperation from someone who you supposedly don't give a fuck about you gave validation to the next day.
I don't know. Maybe it was just beat out of me. I don't know. There's a difference between.
I have to give.
There's a difference between making a comment and encouraging someone.
I can save face.
There's a difference between. Hold on. There's a difference between me giving someone a compliment and me going, "Did I do good? Did I do good? Do you think I did okay?"
But Step, I'm not okay. So that's
so if
no.
I gotta answer that. If that's calling me out,
I'm not calling anyone out specifically.
Just in case that is. The reason why I ask is if I do good is because there's a lot of times where the videos and shit I'm doing are handling very delicate fucking topics.
That's different. Handling a video where you want to make facts is different than, Yeah. Right.
Or just being a sad, desperate wreck in an online chat room. What's the difference?
I don't send a picture of my fucking shoes to Leo Convoy. Did I tie the laces just right?
Yeah. Do you guys oh god. I spent all summer customizing the interior of this van. Yeah, I had a lot of other stuff to do.
Yeah,
didn't post a single picture of it.
Yeah, we've never told Brony Inspector, "Hey, Brony, I really like the way you make your bed. We're proud of you." Let's all.
Yeah, no,
and then we all hug him. No, that doesn't happen.
Can you post some? How's the van project coming? Can you post some pictures? No one ever says that.
Now, on
shit
the other
to me.
hand, on the other hand, when Miggs's video gets done, we're all gonna be proud of Miggs. That day, it's gonna be amazing.
Wait, Miggs is making a video? I didn't know Miggs had a channel.
Working on a little video. There's a little project there.
Hey there, Miggs. Hey there, Miggs. You working on a little video there? You got a little editing.
You're starting to sound like Shaggy.
Yeah, I'm Norville, dude. You should see my van.
Sounds like Brony is
that's horrifying.
Shaggy Rogers.
Norville, Shaggy motherfucking Rogers, man.
You know what? I'm gonna call you Norville from now on.
You can call me Arthur Kingsman if you want. Mystery Skulls reference. I'm actually thinking of getting my van painted like the Mystery Skulls, man.
Mystery Skulls is a good band.
I do have a topic, but I'm waiting.
Go.
Oh well. Fuck you. It's actually a little bit more serious because it involves minors getting harassed.
Oh. Hey, another predator.
No. It's not a predator. It's not a predator. It's just this minors getting doxxed by a much bigger YouTuber. So
that's arguably predatorial.
Yeah.
Arguably.
I hate that.
Like what?
You got the package ready to go.
I got names.
You got the package. You got a Google Docs. What do you got?
Who's the YouTuber?
The YouTuber is Squall Charleston. He's a TokuTuber. He's got about 11,000 subs.
That's
TokuTuber.
That's Damis Hoek in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I know that dog personally.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought this dude lived in California. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Dog. Oh no, wait, different dog. Okay.
I don't know.
Different dog. Different dog. Different dog. Wow. Holy shit.
Inspector, go lay down.
No. There's another person who had their dog sit at the bar. No, don't like. What are you kidding? Like hipsters who became bartenders didn't all take their dogs to work?
Jesus Christ.
That's adorable. I love it.
Boss dog don't start out drinking, everybody.
I just got hydrogen peroxide all over my carpet.
Well, my Newfoundland would like beg for beer.
Why would you have?
If we're gonna hijack this, I've got a better comeback to fucking step on this. Do you know why online friendships are fucking I feel better than fucking offline ones? Because you're a bit more protected with yourself online. Because once you've pissed off the immediate number of people that you're around, it's harder to fucking get more. Whereas online, I could cite, all right, these people think I'm crap, new group. These people think I'm crap, new group, and you're like giving them the real you. And so you finally
have a reset button until you find people who actually like you can turn the filter off. You can be the real you till you find people that it works with. That is brilliant, dude.
Yeah, isn't that? Yeah.
I found a game route. I found a route on this game where I can win. Yeah.
Plus, with online friendships there, if people start pissing you off too badly, hell, You can just start hitting the fucking mute button left and fucking right.
Well, no, you have more tools. Like, if you want to be passive aggressive, you can just kick someone from a call or mute them or do whatever. Like, you have way more tools socially. There's so much more you can do. There's so much more you can express. And if you learn the nuance of this, then it becomes this whole world unto itself that is every part as valuable as the friendships you have in real life. And here's the thing about all my real life friendships. They're all people that I met in fucking high school or before that. Like,
yeah, you've got a closing window of opportunity, Step, just to let you know.
None of the people that I met in my 20s and 30s wound out to be decent people. They all wound up to be like different. Okay? All the people I met past that wound up to be cool ass people were people I met online. It was the only way to make friends.
To be fair, he is from NorCal.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, a lot of the people around me are super horrible. Like they are not good. Like this is where Charlie Manson bought tires. This is not a good place.
Oh my God.
Stockton is still worse though. Stockton will always be worse.
I know
what the fuck is Stockton?
It's in one of the top 10 most unsafe fucking cities in America, isn't it?
You know what?
It was up until about 2 years ago, rated 10 years in a row, the #1 most poverty-stricken city in the United States.
Have fun with your brown water.
Who's never mind.
Who's what?
Do you know? Like, I guarantee you, I knew what a Brita filter was.
What's the name of the city again?
Stockton, California.
Stockton.
Just imagine Nick Diaz going, Stockton, bitch!
Yeah, dude. Okay,
the poverty rate went down after Mayor Tubbs implemented some new.
Don't you Tubbs this. This isn't about Tubbs. This was about a broader economic upswing in the entire Central Valley area because the state leadership changed from Schwarzenegger to Jerry Brown.
Oh no, Brown
don't. Oh my God! It had nothing to do with that fucking moron.
You turned into a supervillain just now. That was beautiful.
No, I never wanted to downplay the governor's part in like the general increase in welfare.
Stockton got livable.
Oh, it's mostly Asian. Well, then what the fuck?
It is. Okay, all right, Step. Oh, no.
He's gonna go back. He's gonna go back.
He's gonna
go back and ask Rocky.
All right,
Rocky,
I thought the Asians were the smart ones. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, I know exactly.
All right, no. Step. Listen, Step. In the 80s and 90s, when Cambodia and Laos were in the middle of horrible, like, nightmare guerrilla wars in the jungle, a lot of people sought refugee status, and most of them wound up in Sacramento and Stockton, and it was a huge influx.
So people from a different culture decided to.
One of the very first people who got angry at a race of people coming into his town and decided to go to a school and shoot a bunch of people was in Stockton in 1989.
The mass shooting.
Yeah, this is the you actually have to go back to I Don't Like Mondays in San Jose to actually get to the original school shooting, quote unquote. But still,
the original.
But yes, the home of the mass shooting, the home of the domestic terrorist committing a race-based mass shooting. Stockton is the home of that because he didn't like all them Cambodes coming in.
Where's the memorial?
And there isn't one. There won't be
one because people in Stockton know what basic decency is.
There isn't be and there won't be one. And the kids like just barely fucking got by. And like, dude, being friends with any Asian people in Stockton, and I grew up in Stockton, like first, second, third grade, like if you were friends with the Asian kids and you were white, like that was just like, oh, you're a dork.
What was
like,
how was Secton like before they came over? That's my question.
I don't know. I wasn't born, dude.
All right,
neither was I.
Yeah, dude.
But
I
will say that
I was born into this thing that
Oh,
started
yeah,
happening.
let me take you back as a avid historian. It was like the ghetto before crack came. It was swimming pools and prosperity.
Oh my
God. What was Stockton like before that happened? It was a farm community.
It really was.
It was a farm
community.
It was
currently
mostly
it's
farm.
home to this fucking monstrosity.
Let me give you an idea. The preschool that I went to was next door to a squash farm. You could stand at the edge of the school fence and watch the guy in the field drive his tractor and plant his seeds and watch the squash grow.
This is what city council spends money on now.
Today, and it's beautiful and the waterfront's nice and I liked it when I was there. Today, that squash field is all houses and it's all crazy rich Asians.
Yeah, the wealthy people in this town are few and far in between, but they sure do live right next to each other.
Horst was a German who was one of the first people to restore old Mercedeses. I sat in a gull-wing Mercedes as a kid because of these weird people in Stockton.
Brony, how much does our Mercedes bend?
Oh, how much is a Mercedes bend?
How much does a Mercedes bend?
How much does a Mercedes bend? Is it a hardtop or convertible?
I don't fucking know.
Well, that's a huge question. Are we talking about stress versus strain? Are we talking about...
He was asking how much does a Mercedes bend. He was making a joke about his weird crushing fetish. I don't know what weird crap that is.
What? Yeah, no. Plenty.
Oh my God.
And here's the thing. You know what I like about a Saab? You have to apply more force to it than a Mercedes to make it crush. Like, it's the car that needs the most crushing force. And I believe the average Mercedes is, I believe it's 4 times the vehicle weight. And for a Saab, it's 6 times the vehicle weight. So that's the average.
Oh, that was an accidental type.
Oh, Brony,
that's the average metric for how much does a Mercedes bend.
Hello, Leo.
Are you on a train?
What's happening, Leo?
How's it going? I have a good car-related statement. I always find it funny when people get hit by Dodges.
Oh shit! I mean, goddamn!
Right on the side. Oh God, Leo, do you remember that thing you said the other night where you were like, "What if they made an alternator in just a bunch of different colors, but it was the same alternator?" I was looking at the Summit Racing catalog.
Oh no!
And there was a whole page of the same alternator in different fucking colors.
Oh no!
There it
How
was.
many of them did you buy?
All I hear is car.
No, he was making an analogy about the He-Man line back in the day, and then Summit Racing literally pulled a He-Man.
Just
selling the same thing in different colors.
Whenever there's like 4 guys talking about this at the same time, Patch, all you have to do is imagine him looking like King of the Hill the whole time.
Well, yep.
All right.
I can hear Leo saying, "Daggone it, Bobby."
All right, so real quick, I'm sorry I couldn't get completely to my topic, but I gotta go.
Alright, see ya.
Shh, Leo.
What do you want, boy?
Can you say that boy ain't right?
That boy ain't right, I'll tell you what.
He would be that one.
Okay, but
boy ain't right, I'll tell you.
Damn it, Bobby! What the hell are you doing?
I was gonna make Blake Dale.
Does a Hank Hill.
Wait, I'm the conspiracy theorist. Why aren't I Dale?
He's the most treacherous one. That's why.
I guess I'll be Boomhauer.
Yeah, you knew. You're like, I'm not being fucking what's his face.
I want to be Dale.
I'm not the biggest fan of Blake. He sometimes seems a little bit, not my kind of person.
You know what? If the elf comes up to me and says he's gone, he's gone. The elf holds rank.
But I try to give people chances.
I don't know about that.
If he says that he's gonna change, I'm gonna give him the opportunity to prove it. But if he wastes my time, then that's it.
He ain't never done that, and he ain't never.
There's been times where he's been cool. I'll give you that.
I try to give everybody a chance to prove to me that I'm wrong about them. But if I turn out right in the end, then I walk away. That's just how I've always been.
That's that's a good virtue to have.
No, he didn't even say to me, like, well, I guess enough. He was like, well, if that's all it was, then we're chill. Like, okay, you know what? Then I get, like, he can, if he starts, like, talking shit, like, I hated all those people the whole time.
Well, Brony,
then he can get fucked.
Brony, you've got rank here, too. If you really don't like him, you're Brony and
No, I you know what? Here's the thing, though. Like, Blake was someone who, like, when no one was in chat, he was there, and we would chill and hang out and talk. And like I didn't not get along with Blake. I got along with Blake fine. He was just a fucking dork. He was fine. Like
dorky people.
He was a weird dork like I am. I don't care. Like if he's being sincere, that's what I'm saying. Like if he's being sincere, then that's a real friendship. If he's being insincere just so he can do his thing, then that's a whole nother thing.
You were saying, Leo?
You know, Brony Spencer, I think you're wasted doing car repair. You need to become a politician because nobody will beat you in a debate because you don't give them time to talk.
Car repair's a hobby.
That's a picture I need to get done. I want a picture of Brony Inspector looking like Mayor Quimby.
Ishb9, Springfield swap meet patron. I need a shot in a shower.
Oh, speaking of which, I never got back to telling you this, Brony. The only reason I Bonzito wanted like either 190 or $200 for that picture, and I was look, I like Bon. I do.
I'm fine.
Not that much.
Not doing that.
No.
Wait a minute, hold on. Brony Spector, if you become president, can I be Secretary of Defense or U.S. Attorney General?
Hold on. No, I already have an AT. How does Secretary of Interior sound?
Okay, as long as it don't mean I gotta start wearing picking out drapes and everything. I'm not good at
No.
Good,
No,
I don't know shit about interior decorating.
You're going to help. You're going to help me bring back nuclear.
Oh, hot diggity damn! We're gonna start having 3 hot fish.
Get away from the microphone, you piece of shit!
What?
Thank you. Can I be press secretary?
No.
What?
No, Rob Whiting.
Yeah, Brony Inspector's like, whoever I have is my press secretary, so I'm not going to be nailing, and you're too young.
I volunteered to be Secretary of Education.
Rob Whiting is my... No, Adam Hilton is my Secretary of Education.
Who's your press secretary?
Rob Whiting.
Oh, what could I be?
The guy who gets my coffee in the morning, motherfucker, and it better be warm. I'm throwing it in your face.
Hold on. You know what? Just like if you can show up on time, all on your own. All on your own. I'll find a job for you. You'll be my guy who does things.
Can I be the guy?
So if you don't mind, and Brony Inspector, I'm going to ask you to just hold off while I get through this. I want to come back to the conversation that was being had while I was in the post office about internet friendships. There is something here that I think a Step had missed throughout everything that Sheldon and Jason and other people in Barrelton put him through. What they were trying to get you to understand, Step, is to weigh the individuals you do hang out online with how much you do value their input or, in your words, seek validation from them. What Jason's getting at is when you went and you ran around saying, oh, I banged X girl to try to impress strangers.
I didn't ran around doing it.
You know what I mean.
Then why do we all know that?
Hold on, Brony.
Because they keep talking about it.
Yes, they bring it up because you keep reacting to it. You haven't learned anything yet.
What are you talking about?
See? There you go.
His voice cracked. You turned into Dylan, my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head off.
I wasn't gonna do it, Anthony.
I'm a dick.
I have a good match.
The point is, if you want to have friends on the internet, you can, and that's fine.
I didn't say you couldn't.
Weigh them reasonably, and don't immediately just try to impress them simply because you don't like, or simply because you like them. That's what they're trying to get at. Somehow you keep missing that lesson every time it's trying to be taught to you.
Wait, which lesson?
Oh my God, I'm going to strangle.
I didn't hear.
Hold on, Step. No, simple
Your
question.
mic is
Hold on.
trash. It's not my fault.
No, shut up. Oh, I can hear him fine. Step. Who do you like? Who in all your chats do you think are cool? Like, who do you think is a cool person?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Do you want me to just go down the list?
Yeah.
Rocky, Rouge, Brony, Inspector, Leo, Shelby to an extent, Minhart.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
No, keep going. All right, no, yeah. That's it.
No, Bubba I think is pretty funny.
Yay.
I value Patch's input, believe it or not, a little bit.
Yeah,
No, because you know why? Because they're the only one I can talk to you about my questions about gender and stuff without getting screamed at.
I think I'm pretty. I think I'm a pretty level-headed LGBT.
Yeah, but I don't ask you questions about gender.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah.
But you have to understand, of the people he wants to ask, all the other ones will yell at him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I won't. I just don't have the answer for him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, I'm the guy you go to when you have like super masculine questions, like how do I chop down this tree with my fist?
How do I punch a tree down?
Well, you got to wrap your hand good and tight with this here leather strap and everything.
I mean, you can wrap your hand. You can wrap your hand if you're a pussy. I mean, generally, you just start wailing at the thing.
Oh, well, like, I'm a filthy hipster. I just get my Echo chainsaw and go to town.
Right. So if you give me like a TLDR of like what you're trying to say here.
Okay, the TLDR is be cognizant of whose opinion you value and don't seek validation in people that have no reason to be that in your life.
Right, like, if you think someone's cool, like, then that's an actual person that you're putting value on. Like, just keep that in mind, dude.
Okay.
You know,
like me,
like
I
no
have
one's...
friends on the internet, and I happily admit they are. But at the same point, I also have an understanding that, end of the day, whether I value their input's going to be a case-by-case basis. There have been times I told my own family to go sit on it, and that generally is a lot closer than people on the internet. So it all depends ultimately on your values here. And in that case, judge them accordingly and judge them properly, and you won't have an issue. The problem is, Steph, you've made a habit of trying to impress people that really couldn't care less. And it's just it's little kid behavior, which is understandable because you are one. But at some point, I hope you realize you don't have to do that.
Right. Yeah.
You're a clever boy.
Joke about you and the French chick line.
Yeah. That was a fuck up. I don't know more you want me to say about that.
Well,
I don't want you to say anything. Just be aware.
Nothing. Yeah.
It's not a punishment to give you grief. Does it actually bother you when we pick on you about it?
Depending on the context of why you're doing it, sometimes. But you know what? That's my problem.
You're a gay boy. You'll have tons of problems through your life.
Hey, Bernie, is that mic any good?
Which one?
One in chat. Or is that a USB?
Fine. Technology.
Here we go.
It looks like a USB.
Yeah, that might be.
That is.
Looks nice though.
Yeah.
It's got the Yeti fucking dial on it
right.
though, so that's concerning.
I got ground beef in the fridge.
Oh, fine. You know what?
Ground...
Oddly enough,
go ahead.
Yeah,
like okay. So what fine is that's like Alcatron. That's an AliExpress brand. And you can tell a USB mic because it'll always have the gain knob built in, essentially.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I got some ground beef in the fridge, and I wanted to go make some burgers. I'm gonna dip.
So for the price that mic would cost, which should be around like $30 to $50.
There's no way. There's no way.
No. For between the $30 to $50 price range that person should be paying for it, like it's
you'd be lucky to get 60, like real lucky. I'm guessing.
It's an okay choice, but how much are they selling it?
Probably like $100, I'm guessing.
Really? Let me look it up because like I know that mic. It is a Chinese brand. It is not. Yeah, this is not news.
It's looks like it's on Amazon for like $50.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying, $30 to $50. Like I can get these on AliExpress for $25 each if I buy 10. Like they're not expensive mics. Here's the thing. They're better than something like a blue snowball for the money when you pay $30 to $50 for them.
Okay.
But as for something on resale, like yeah, you can get $20 for it. If someone paid $20 for that, they would be better off than buying a blue snowball new.
Well, blue snowballs suck dick.
Oh yeah, but it's a step up, and a step up is a step up.
This is a step up with
and this thing, like I don't hate Fine's products on a whole. They are actually a decent manufacturer, even though they're Chinese and they're not worth as much. They are catching up to competitors like Yeti very quickly. Companies like Alctron are like going to be caught up to companies like Shure and Blue in no time. Like there are Chinese microphone makers who have just cheaper products that are going to sound every bit as good as the competition within the next 10 to 20 years. Like we will all look to Alctron and Fifine as one of the premier brands in pro audio. Mark my words on that one, man.
Nice.
They make decent enough shit.
Oh, so they're like the AMD of their brand. Got it.
Like what's weird about them is they're just like they're not anything of their brand because Western brands are at such a huge premium in China. There's a ton of room for these companies to get really good. And there's a ton of room for them to outpace the Western competition in sales in China. And then, yeah, of course, they're not the best right now build quality, but sound-wise, they sound surprisingly better than you would think. Much like Sony electronics from the 60s were not built particularly well. They weren't built as well as American electronics, but they sounded really good. Chinese electronics are in the same point right now. Like in 10 to 15 years, they will be caught up, and everyone will be like, "Oh, Fifine? Oh, that's a good mic." Like, so I don't discredit any of the Chinese brands right now because they are going to become the innovators once the industry gets caught up.
I'm gonna kill the stream because we've been going for 2 hours.